The death of 18-year-old Andre Jones in 1992 remains one of the most controversial and painful cases in Mississippi's modern history. Arrested for a minor traffic violation, Jones was found dead in a county jail within hours. Authorities declared his death a suicide, but his family and civil rights activists have long argued that he was the victim of foul play. For decades, the case has symbolized the deep mistrust between black communities and law enforcement in the South, raising troubling questions about racism, abuse of power, and justice denied. Andre Jones was an 18-year-old black teenager from Jackson, Mississippi. The only child of a blended family, he lived with his mother, Sarah O'Neill Rush, and stepfather, Charles Evers, a well-known civil rights activist and the brother of slain leader Medgar Evers. Andre was described as a bright, athletic young man with a promising future. He had just graduated from high school and was preparing to attend college in the fall of 1992. By all accounts, Andre was excited about the next chapter of his life. He was close to his family, especially his mother, and had plans for a career and a life beyond Mississippi. His death, coming just weeks before he was set to begin college, cut short that promise and left his family shattered. On August 22, 1992, Andre was driving with his girlfriend in Rankin County, Mississippi, when he was stopped at a police checkpoint. Officers claimed that his car had no inspection sticker and that he was driving without a license. Despite the minor nature of the infractions, Andre was taken into custody. What happened next has been the subject of controversy ever since. Rather than being released after posting bail, Andre was transferred between multiple county jails, eventually ending up in the Simpson County Jail in Mendenhall. Within hours of being locked up, he was dead. Authorities quickly declared Andre's death a suicide. They claimed he had hanged himself in his cell with a shoelace, discovered by guards during routine checks. According to their account, Andre was despondent over his arrest and took his own life rather than face the consequences. This explanation, however, was immediately rejected by Andre's family. They argued that he had no history of depression or suicidal behavior and had been in high spirits in the days leading up to his arrest. His mother pointed out that he had just received his college acceptance and had been making plans for the future. From the moment news of Andre's death spread, his family and community demanded answers. They believed his death was not a suicide but a lynching carried out inside the jail. Their suspicion was fueled by the history of racism and violence in Mississippi, particularly against young black men in custody. Civil rights activists quickly rallied to the family's side, calling for an independent investigation. Demonstrations were held, and the case drew national attention, highlighting broader concerns about systemic racism and police brutality. The controversy deepened when Andre's family commissioned an independent autopsy. While the state medical examiner's office concluded that the cause of death was suicide by hanging, the family's pathologist raised serious doubts. The independent examination suggested bruises and marks on Andre's body that were inconsistent with suicide and more indicative of a struggle. The discrepancies between the official and independent autopsies only heightened suspicion that authorities were covering up the true circumstances of his death. Andre's death occurred during a time of heightened racial tension in Mississippi and across the South. Decades after the civil rights movement, black communities continued to report discrimination, harassment, and violence at the hands of law enforcement. For many, the case of Andre Jones became symbolic of the persistence of racial injustice in America. His stepfather, Charles Evers, used his platform to amplify the case, demanding accountability and connecting Andre's death to the long history of racial violence that had claimed the life of his brother Medgar decades earlier. There are two primary theories about what happened to Andre Jones. The first is the official explanation: suicide. Authorities argued that Andre was overwhelmed by his arrest and the prospect of jail time and took his own life in a moment of despair. They maintained this position despite community skepticism. The second is that Andre was murdered, either by jail staff or by inmates with the knowledge, or negligence, of guards. His family and many activists believe he was targeted because of his race and his family's prominence in civil rights activism. They point to the bruising on his body, the lack of proper documentation, and the inconsistencies in the investigation as evidence of foul play.